Hey guys, today we're going to create a hairless cat. Let's start. With our pencils, we're going to work near the top of our page and just put a fairly short horizontal line. Then come down just a little bit in the middle and put a small dot. And then I want you to create a triangle. Now going from each tip of the top of the triangle, create a little arc, a little rainbow that goes from one side to the other. I'm going to work with my line here a little bit. My pencil kind of slipped. Now come to the bottom of your triangle. On each side, a little bit up, I want you to put a little dot, very small little dot. On each side, just up a little bit. And then going up to the center of that line, just draw a line connecting it like this. So you have like an upside down diamond or kite shape here. On the inside of this line, I want you to put a little arc, little rainbow shape, and then bring it down to that point. So you just fit, this is the nose of the cat, and you're just gonna fit it right into that little space right there. Okay, now let's create an upside down V that comes out of the bottom of the nose. Just like that. Just very small, little upside down V. Now what I want you to do is from each tip of the V, make a curvy line that curves back up and connects to that point where the line came down. Do that on both sides. And then make another curvy line that connects the two bottoms of the upside down V that we have. And that'll make the little chin of the cat. Now where each cheek hits the triangle that you've drawn, I'm going to have you loosen that triangle out a little bit and make a very soft little arc. And then do the same thing on the other side. Just give it a little bit more of a curve to it rather than the straight line of the triangle. Now come up where the top of your triangle was, and we're gonna create two eyes. Now the eyes are gonna go down and up, like upside down rainbows to the top of your arc. I want you to try to make them the same size and do them on both sides. Then on the insides, you're gonna make little arches on the inside. These ones are gonna be long and skinny, like this. And then put an even smaller one on the inside. Color in the eye, but don't color in the smallest arch. Leave that white. That's going to be the little shine inside your cat's eye. Let's create a little triangle that goes down, straight down on the side of the eye, and then comes back up to meet your rectangle. So a line straight down from the edge and then angles back up to meet the corner of that rectangle that hits the corner of the eye. So all three of these lines intersect right there. Okay, let's color that in as dark as you can. This hairless cat is going to be not so happy, and we want him to have very dark eyebrows. We're going to create the same triangle on the other side, come straight down, angle back in just a little bit, and then color in this dark eyebrow here. Now, my cat right now looks just a little bit like he's having a bad day. But if you want to make him really look angry, continue those rectangles in toward the nose just a little bit more. and just make his eyebrows longer. Okay, now you're gonna do the only erasing that I want you to do in the whole cap. I want you to erase the straight lines of your triangle and the straight line of the triangle that goes into the eyes right here. So just on the side, and then this straight line. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're gonna color it in, but let's just get rid of the lines so it doesn't draw attention to itself. So that original triangle that you did is pretty much gonna be gone. Okay, let's do the ears next. Come up to the top of your arch that you created up here and find the middle with your finger. And then on each side of the middle, I want you to put a dot, about the same distance apart. So you're splitting the head up into 3 sections. Just put 2 dots at the top. Now from this dot, you're gonna make the longest ears that you want. You're gonna come up with a slightly curvy line, up, and then curve it back down until it reaches the side of the head. Just like that. You can make your ears however you like. You can make them even, uneven. You can give one a little notch if you want. One can be bent over, however you want it to be, but mine are gonna stick straight up for today. Draw another line that stays really close to this line at the top, but then curves out and away from it at the bottom. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Start really close to this line here at the top, and then angle away from it with a nice curvy line. I'm sure yours is looking awesome. Let's add a few dots for our whiskers. 3, 4, however many you'd like in the cheeks. And then darken up the upside down V that serves as the mouth. Put a tiny little line here in the nose too. Now when you go back and color in the nose, you can keep it light or dark. That will be your choice when you color your cat in. Okay, the next part's kind of fun. From either side of this little upside down V that you've done, draw 2 long lines that go straight down. So these lines are parallel. They run right next to each other and they're very, very long and skinny. Next, I want you to put a line in between them that only comes about halfway up. So start halfway and go down to the bottom. So you start with 2 lines and then it becomes 3 lines halfway down. Awesome. Now the space that is just 2 lines, this space right here, about halfway between there, on the right side, put a dot. And on the left side, put your finger there. Now go over just a little bit, maybe 1 finger's space, and put a dot. So these dots are relatively even, but this one's not on the line and this one is. Great, now what I want you to do is make a little curvy line that comes from the neck. So draw the neck a little bit, curve up to hit the dot, and then curve back down to come back to the line. And when you curve back down, it'll come back about where your 3rd line starts. If you need to and you made your dot a little bit too bold, you can go back and lighten it up, erase it a little bit so it's not as noticeable. Okay, from the other dot that you did, I want you to create kind of the same line as this, but it's gonna come down a little bit. So you're gonna curve out and then curve back in to hit this line. And then from that same dot, we're gonna do 2 other lines starting from this dot. So first, all you're gonna do is kind of widen this leg right here. So all we're gonna do is do a little bit curvy line that curves back and touches the line again. All this does is gives your cat a little bit more thickness at the top of his leg. And then working from this same dot, you're gonna give your cat a shoulder and then create like an S curve. Watch me first, it could be a little confusing. So give your cat a little bit of a shoulder and then come down like an S, a very, very loose S, and come down to the same distance as these other legs right here. So give your cat a shoulder and then do a little S curve. Very nice. Now let's soften up this point right here and curve the shoulder up to meet the neck and darken that neck a little bit. Wonderful, you're doing great. Okay, let's do the front feet. So at the bottom of your left line, make a small little bump. And at the bottom of your right line, make another bump the same way. Then in the middle line, I want you to create an almost straight line, but go ahead and make it arch a little bit to the left. Now all you're gonna do is create a soft connection here, not a real straight line, but a little connection that connects the 2 feet. So now you've got 2 little feet in the front of your cat. Let's make toes by just doing 2 curves to the right, and then the other foot, do 2 curves to the left. There's our tiny little front feet for our hairless cat. Now from here, from where the foot connects to the leg, I want you to create a line that swoops up and almost touches the back, like that. And then from about maybe here, I want you to create another S curve that goes down and back up and then connects here on the back. Now let's make the back foot. A small little bump that comes out to the right, a very small little bump that comes out to the left, and then connect it with a nice soft line. This is gonna be the kitty's back foot. Then we'll create little toes the same way we did with the front 2. Now let's give this cat an illusion of being kind of fat. So his skin's gonna be like folded over his leg. So what I want you to do is go ahead and the same way as this S curve is, create a couple more that just kind of overlap. Give him some wrinkles. They don't have to be perfect. You may even want to give him a few wrinkles here in the belly. You can add those if you like. We can't forget the other back leg. This line is really kind of fun to make. All you're going to do is come up a little bit and make a really big bump. A funny bump right there. And then we're gonna make the little back paw, which is a bump to the left, a soft connection to the other foot, and then 2 little toes. He's got a really funny little back leg. If yours is sticking out a little far like mine is, you can always add a little bit more of a leg that goes up to meet his tummy here with a curved line, and then just erase your bottom one if you like. So you decide how you like that leg to look. If this line right here is prominent to you and you don't like the way it looks, let's go ahead and erase it. If you drew yours very lightly and you're gonna be able to color over it, then don't worry about it. But mine was a little dark, so I'm gonna go ahead and erase that. There we go. Now you have a choice on how you make the cat tail. You can create a tail that comes out along the ground right here and curves up, or you can make a tail that comes out behind the cat on this side. That's what I'm gonna do for mine, but you decide how you want your tail to look. I'm gonna come right about here and make a little S, almost as tall as his head. He's gonna have a really long tail. I'm gonna curve back around and then make a parallel curve that comes right alongside and finishes out the tail. The last thing to do is add whiskers and a little bit of ear wrinkles. So in the ears, add just 2 little dashy lines right up in the ear where this part connects to the head. just 2 little dashy lines. And then those same kind of lines start at each of the dots that you created for your whiskers and swoosh them out as long as you would like them to be. There's your hairless cat. You've finished. Keep watching for a few ideas on how to give your cat some color. Okay, so hairless cats don't have any hair, right? But for some reason, some of them have like a grayish tint. Their skin almost looks like it could be a color of fur. I'm gonna give my cat some attitude as well as some color here. And how I'm gonna do that is, because he's not very happy today, I'm not gonna use really bright, warm colors. That will give off mixed messages. So I'm gonna use cool colors and colors that might be in his skin tone. So for today, my color choices are like a blue-gray and a very, very light peach. But before you color it in, I want you to go back with your black pencil or whatever black marker or crayon that you're using. Really darken those areas that we already did with pencil. Give your cat some really dark little eyebrows. If you'd like, you can outline the whole thing with black, and that'll give it a nice outline. If you don't want to do that and you want to spend more time coloring and adding shadows and shading, then do that. Now with the color, I'm going to recommend that whatever color you choose for the cat, you do this entire leg, this bottom half of the leg, and most of the cat. But your highlight color, do on the chest and on the ears. So I'll start with that so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I've colored in my whole cat with the blue-gray, and then I added the highlights to the ears and the chest. Now you can be finished there. It looks great. But if you want to add a little bit of shading, you're going to want to put a little bit of darkness underneath the creases of the arm here. Down along the bottom of the belly. Into the wrinkles that you added, go ahead and do lots of shading there. Do a little bit darker line right on the left side of the center of the legs, of these two middle legs. Just a really skinny little line that'll darken up the crease behind this leg and give the illusion that the left leg is slightly behind the right leg. And then add a lot of shading to this other back leg as well. Now on the tail, just add a little bit of shadow where it connects. And then if you want to, you can add some shadow along the bottom edge of the tail, especially down here near the bottom. And here underneath the tip. This is where the shadow would hit if the light were coming from above the cat. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shading on the bottom of the face and the mouth and give it more of a rounded look for the face. You may even want to add a little bit of shadows in the corners of the eyes to give the eyes a little bit more of a deep set look. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm sure your cats look great, and I'll see you next time.